This rose of Sharon bush has really grown over the last several years, and I really need to prune it and make it a little more manageable. Some of these, I've got about an 8-foot reach, and some of these are getting beyond my reach, so I'm going to trim those down, try to make it look a little bit better. And while I was looking at it and what I needed to trim, it's real easy with these rose of Sharon bushes to lose track and let one grow at the base, and you can see there's actually 2 here instead of 1. So what I'm going to do is cut this one out. And not only is that one growing, but if I didn't pay attention, this one would do the same thing. This little tiny one, they'll put off lots of seedlings. Got one growing here, got one growing there, got one growing over here. I'm going to have to make sure I don't let those grow, or else I'd end up with a mass of rose of Sharon bushes instead of just one, which is what I want. So I'm going to have to be trimming that big one out, and then I'm going to put some wood chips around this, and hopefully it'll smother out any seedlings, and it'll look a lot better when I'm done, or that's what the plan is. And here's what it looks like now after I did a little pruning. Some of the longest branches were probably 8 feet tall. I try to top them down to about 6 feet or so. And here's that extra bush that we didn't need. Cut it down. And there's the trimmings. And there's a look at it all trimmed up. I put some wood chips around the bottom, and that'll help keep little ones from coming up there. And I'll just keep a closer eye on it and not let any get out of control like I did that one. And I'm sure the hummingbirds will appreciate my effort once it starts blooming. Here we are over a month later, and as you can see, it's a lot fuller bush now. Let's go take a closer look. Pretty windy day today. Right here is a good example. You can tell where I trimmed it. We've got new growth. See, I cut the end off of that, and it caused all these side shoots to grow, which is in the long run is going to produce a lot more flowers. If we look at this one here, you got flower buds already forming all along here. Just in that little bit of new growth right here, there's a half a dozen little flower heads forming. Same way up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it'll probably grow some more, because that's getting out towards the end where it's still growing. So this thing, when it blooms, should be just covered with flowers. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I pruned it. I could have just let it grow the way it was, but it's going to look a lot better as far as the shape of the bush, and it's going to have a lot more flowers on it. Here's another example here. Every leaf joint, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's still growing. There are 7. I'm not sure how many more will form, but this thing will obviously be covered in blooms. And we'll come back and take a look when it starts flowering.